Hey, what's up, chiropractors? With this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 key differences. These are vividly, wildly important differences between building a pediatric and family practice and a standard chiropractic practice. Now, before I get into the 5 things, let's split the hairs on the definitions here. When we talk about the pediatric experience and we talk about pediatric chiropractic, what we actually mean is you end up with a thriving family wellness practice when you start with kids. I'm gonna map it out here as we go through these 5 differences. You'll find out that by starting out with pediatrics and putting a full focus with your brand, your clinical training, everything on kids, kids matter most to parents, parents complete the family, bam, family practice. Now, that took me, 30 seconds to rip through, and you're like, wait a minute, does it really work that simply? It absolutely does, because the contrast one we have here, the 5 differences we're talking about, is what about a standard chiropractic practice, a typical chiropractic practice? Now, these kind of practices may put family in their name, and they may kind of a little bit within their marketing put a little family spin on it. But what happens in a standard chiropractic practice, it is a spinal, musculoskeletal, physical, pain-based, insurance-dependent approach first that hopes to then see kids. So it's screenings, and it's talking about pain, and it's talking about headaches, and it's talking about sports injuries. And then you're hoping through the doctor's report, through the workshop, through your emails, whatever it may be, once those parents with pain and a musculoskeletal screening entry point into your practice, once they get the big idea, the hope is to end up serving their kids as well, right? So it's A to B, kids first, B is the family practice, or is it B to A? And really it's S, spinal, P to A, pain to kids. It doesn't work the same. What happens when you set out to build a typical standard practice and you say, I want to see families, it's not far enough away from the back pain corrective spinal practice. And so you end up pulled right back in the red ocean of back pain and standard chiropractic. So if this is for you, if you really truly want a family practice, what you need to do is to take one step forward. My microphone's in my way here to really lean into the camera. You got to take, it's more than one step. You got to take 10 steps forward, all in for pediatrics, and you end up with a family practice. So there's 5 strategic practice model differences that really will set you towards a pediatric practice. Or if you don't do these 5 things, and you got to go 5 for 5. If you don't commit to bringing these 5 things forward, you end up with a subluxated practice model, and it isn't as strong in terms of its brand and its delivery for kids and families. And so you end up having to accept more back pain patients. You end up probably having to accept a little PI. You end up having to deal with insurance for most of your days. And that, if that is not where you want to end up, and this is where you want to end up, pay attention to these 5 things. Number 1 difference between a pediatric and family practice, family wellness for life practice, and a standard spinal family practice is the level of certainty and clarity with which you operate at. See, moms and dads will not accept wishy-washy kind of sort of, oh, we take care of kids too. They are not looking for a doctor who also takes care of kids and families. They are looking for a doctor who absolutely takes care of kids and families. That's the difference. So your certainty and your clarity about taking care of kids, toughest kids to simple kids, wellness checks to perfect storm kids with autism and epilepsy, your clarity, your certainty needs to be a 12 out of 10 or more, because moms need that. Number 2, that certainty and that clarity needs to translate into the second difference, pediatric and family versus standard, and the way you clinically manage, clinical case management is the second thing that is different. You must absolutely know how to care plan for kids. And even 80, 90% of certified pediatric chiropractors I've seen out there are grossly, massively, just heart-wrenchingly under recommending care for kids. They don't know how to care plan. They don't understand neuroplasticity. They don't understand that subluxation has momentum. And what they're doing is they're seeing kids just 1 or 2 times a week for 6 weeks and seeing how it goes. And we know the science, we know the neurology, we've proven it in practice that care planning matters most. Care planning is where the miracles are made. And also, this is kind of 2A is care planning. 2B is your techniques systems. You cannot rely on one form of adjusting if you want to get all kids better. I think this is just a chiropractic thing, but what we see every single day is in one room, we need to be as light and as easy and as tonal as can be. And in another room, it maybe was a forceps injury and that child needs to get adjusted. And so you need a multitude of techniques. That's the second difference. Number 3, your branding and your marketing must be almost 100% kids. So we put out 8 testimonials per month, and we only put out 1 parent or prenatal testimonial per month. 7 of them are kids. We put out 2 educational videos every single week, so 8 a month. Maybe one of those is actually focused at anything other than kids. I could give you a math example after math example, but when you brand and market yourself pediatrics first, you end up with a family practice. In fact, you want what we have, which is where parents whose kids are a week or 2 under care ask you, hey, I could really benefit from this. Do you take care of adults too? Because it looks like all these other families, are they all getting adjusted together? Yeah, you know what? So here's your script to convert moms and dads under care and the other siblings. You bet we do. Let's get you scanned. Let's get you checked. Let's get you started, because this is absolutely a family practice. You win on the pediatric brand full out, not kind of. We talked about it before. It's not a little bit. It's not also what you do. It is the thing you do. And then moms and dads also get into the practice. We call it a +3. Write this one down. A +3 in 3 family practice. 90% of our external marketing new patients, so they're derived from our social media, from Google, from referrals, from professionals. 90% of them are kids first. But then we are 60 to 65% pediatrics, which means the family, the parents, get under care from our internal marketing system, which is the best internal marketing system you could ever have. It's ongoing, and then we have these quarterly campaigns that just crush, and parents get added under care. We want +3, so the parents and the sibling, usually the family is averaging 4. We get the additional 3 family members in 3 months under care. Number 4 is location. I'm gonna switch, and I'm actually gonna show you. I mean, I've been talking at you a lot with this video, so let me switch over here and show you what I'm looking at with location. Now, this is a map of beautiful, it actually is beautiful. I know Illinois gets a bad rap, but the community we practice in is perfect for peds and prenatal and family practice, which is why choose your location, choose your place. Is it a family environment? Northern Illinois, McHenry County, Crystal Lake, it's the most family community, family-oriented focused community. Now, I'm talking about that from kind of like the demographics or the makeup of your community. And then at the same time, what about the location? So the 4th difference is where you do not want to be if you want to serve kids and families for life. They're going to come to you daily or 3 times a week to get started, and then once a week for life. You need to be ridiculously convenient. So when we look at convenience, what we're really talking about with this is convenience means not on these main roads. So Crystal Lake is just like any other community, right? We've got 3 ridiculously busy highways that kind of feed our community. And then the middle of Crystal Lake is right in here. That's the heart and center of Crystal Lake. What everybody who wanted me to be a check-in, walk-in, back pain chiropractor, and what a lot of people will tell you is to set up shop here in the retail centers where you can have visibility. Write this one down too. You are not an attraction, you are a destination. So if you are going to build your practice on, hey, I got to do screenings, I got to have 50, 80, 100 new patients every single month, what you're automatically saying is I will have craptastic conversions and craptastic retention. So when you're building a retention-based long game practice where you want those families to come to you every week for life, you need to be where it's convenient. So our very first practice is in this red right here, and it's in a convenient and professional center. Now, if you've got 3 kids getting in and out of a minivan, the last thing you want to be is right here by Target and Starbucks and all the places with the busiest, longest red lights, most traffic, most cars zooming in and out of the parking lot, not paying attention. If you make getting to your practice a pain in the ass, then you have the visibility and you probably pay the retail rents as well, but you don't have the professionalism and the convenience. This is where PwC started. Now we are right off one of the main drags in a ridiculously professional high-end complex as well. And the convenience and the professionalism is what you're going for with the family practice. Because trust me, they got Google Maps or a Garmin from back in the day. They're going to find you. When you build a standard back pain practice, then maybe you want somebody who's getting a cheeseburger or a cup of coffee to go, oh, standard chiropractic. Let me hop on in for an old back cracker and a massage. And they don't stay, and they don't bring their kids, and they don't bring their family. Convenience is king, queen, and everything in between. And you want a professional look. You want an open, wide layout instead of the long, narrow retail layout. There is so much with location that you really need to consider. So if you're a startup, hopefully I got this video to you early. If you're looking to grow your practice and shift it from pain to pediatrics, maybe you need to move locations and get into a new office, new part of town with professionalism, with convenience, and get it there. And the fifth thing you need to do to see kids and have a family practice is something you will be excited to do, probably quite nervous to do, but my goodness, when you figure out exactly the model and exactly the blueprint, which we teach like none other inside PX, you end up with this, and it's the greatest thing you could ever have. And that is a 100% cash practice. Literally nothing else. We literally refer out Medicare. We do not accept. We do not verify benefits. We don't even put our pinky toe into the third-party pay, just horrendous, nasty third-party pay insurance world. Kids are the most valuable, the health of children are the most valuable thing to a parent. So they don't care near as much about using insurance for their kids' chiropractic care as they do for their back pain and neck pain. So again, if you go back through this list, you'll see that if you get it wrong at the top, you're screwed at the bottom. But if you get it right at the top, you're set up at the bottom, because parents value the health of their children more so than anything else. And oh, by the way, this is actually convenient. Guess what's not covered? I don't care who you go to a seminar or coding and they're like, yeah, I've got a CPT. What would it even be? I don't even know. A diagnosis code or a CPT code. I know how to code for ear infections. I know how to code for kids. That means you know how to cheat the system and do things illegally. Kids aren't covered. That's just the truth. And that's such a blessing. That is so fantastic. Because guess what's that saying? Hey, chiropractic for care for kids isn't treatment, isn't back pain. It's something different. Well, guess what insurance does? Medically derived care. Treatment of back pain until it's gone and then they're gone. You don't want that. You want the kid to start and stay with their full family forever. So a 100% cash practice is the requirement to see kids and families in this way for a lifetime. And if you have insurance in your way at all, it subluxates the vision and the delivery of that practice massively. Those are the 5 things: your certainty, your clinical delivery, your branding, your location, and all cash, baby. Those are the 5 things that you go towards, must have, must do to end up with a pediatric and family wellness practice. You can put family in your name, but if you don't do these 5 things all of the way, you might as well white it out, take that sign down and say standard back pain, neck pain, insurance dependent practice. You got to go all in for kids to end up with families.